The playoffs don't start until November, but a number of games before then will have a playoff feel. And tonight's Atlantic Division matchup in the Queen City between the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Charlotte Independence fits that bill. Brought to you by Complete Construction Services here on Throwback Soccer Night as Charlotte honors the Carolina Lightning and their 1981 ASL National Championship. Alongside Devin Kerr at American Legion Memorial Stadium, I'm Joe Malfa. Standings this evening brought to you by Birdsong Brewing Company. Pittsburgh's concern right now, not a playoff spot, chasing down Tampa. That's their focus. On the flip side, Charlotte getting into the playoffs, that's their focus, and they're looking to build a cushion, and right now they're above that line because of their recent form.
The form's been great over the last 9 matches. We understand that. For me, it comes down to quality of victories within their entire resume, though. Taking down the Tampa Bay Rowdies twice, taking down the Riverhounds twice. No one in the championship can say that. With their midseason roster additions, Marveau, Oberton, of course, the Lonies have been there since the beginning. But you add Fuchs onto the back line. This team is dangerous. They are not a dark horse. This team is legit, and they can make a run come playoff time if they can keep everybody healthy. It's a little bit different for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. The record is the same, or very similar, I should say, over the past 9 matches. But theirs comes down to resume as well. They have only beaten the Rowdies and the Charlotte Independents in their 14 wins. All the other 12 come against teams below the playoff line. The 3 other teams that can say the same, San Diego, OKC, Orange County, all of them still in a playoff race. Everybody else currently in a playoff spot has at least 4 victories. 4 out of 7 remaining games for the Riverhounds against playoffs. Got to be better down the stretch.
The lineup's brought to you tonight by Adidas as the Riverhounds look to push it to 7 games in a row without a loss.
Couple of tweaks from Bob Lilley. Jordan Dover, Kilwine, and Ezra Armstrong come back in. Would love to see Jordan Dover go the distance, get some minutes underneath his belt, coming back from injury, get him fit come playoff time. Ezra Armstrong, what sort of balance does he provide on the left-hand side? We know that Forbes is going to come into the pocket, but with the movement of Cicerone and Dixon, he's going to have to be ever-present on the other side. Alex Dixon is having a career year. That's nothing new. But it's the way that he's doing it. It's the willingness by Bob Lilley to make him not a versatile player, but versatile within the system. And those are 2 very different things. You move him out onto the wing, you get him in 1v1s, you play him in the 9. He's using him all over and extremely effectively. For the Charlotte Independents, they've got a pretty good lineup themselves, don't they? Only 2 changes here for Mike Jeffries, Adam Armour and Oberton. The question is going to be here on the back line. Do you leave Fuchs on the inside and keep Armour on the out, or do you move him to right? I think you take Fuchs and move him to the right. That seems like the logical move because of Joel Johnson and Marveau. That would be a heck of a combination on the right-hand side. We know what they can do in midfield. But what does it look like when they reach the final third? You are up against one of the best defensive units in the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They are always well prepared coming into their matches. They're going to do everything they can to shut down Sylvain Marveau. May not be career numbers from his previous stops, but within the USL Championship, this guy has to be one of the best in the business right now.
He is tonight's player to watch, brought to you by Great Clips. Final meeting of the regular season. Emphasis on regular season between these teams because they may meet again come November. It's the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Charlotte Independence next on ESPN+.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Hey guys, this is Gabby Douglas. If you have an active lifestyle like me, hydration is key. That's why I love the Hydration Watermelon Smoothie from Smoothie King. With more electrolytes than some of the leading sports drinks, it's a cleaner way to hydrate and recover, with no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. So try the Hydration Watermelon Smoothie from Smoothie King. Order online for pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
Fun fact, you know Mountain Dew and spicy chicken is the perfect combo?
Does it look like I don't know that?
Okay. Didn't mean to ruffle your feathers.
You know, we both did the employee training, Gary.
Okay, don't jump down my beak.
Doing spicy? Do the do.
There are currently 2 million American spouses and children whose family member was killed or disabled in defense of our country, which is why I founded the Folds of Honor. providing educational scholarships to the families of 1% of the Americans who protect our freedom.
Thank you for supporting the Folds of Honor.
Thank you for supporting the Folds of Honor.
Please join our squadron today. Your $13 a month speaks volumes and changes lives forever.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Ready to go in Charlotte. Independence from right to left in their throwback uniforms tonight, the light blue with the yellow trim, and Pittsburgh from left to right in their trademark yellow and black. With Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa. Thanks for joining us tonight. Gabriel Giusti will get us underway in the green. Second place Pittsburgh, fourth place Charlotte underway. Every meeting this season between these teams finished 1-0. 2 went Charlotte's way, 1 went Pittsburgh's way.
Correct, and Kevin is on video. Maybe. Don't leave. If you leave, you know where to go.
That win this season Pittsburgh had over Charlotte was actually the franchise's first ever win against Charlotte. Outside of that, 8 losses, 5 draws. Hugh Roberts in the middle of the back line. Devin, you noted you were interested to see how the back line would shake out. For now, it was Roberts in the middle. But Fuchs and Armour, TBD.
You're going to have to give that a couple of minutes, given the way that the Pittsburgh Riverhounds are lining up as well. This will be 5-10 minutes. See exactly what cards are going to be shown. Interesting to note that they're actually starting in a 4, not in a 3. Pittsburgh Riverhounds doing the exact same thing. So some posturing here from both managers to get us going.
Cicerone drops in. Armstrong cutting through. Chance here, the shot, saved by Pack. Nobody came to him, so he just said, you know what, I'll take the shot myself. Sylvain Marveau on that right flank, battling here with Armstrong. It's made all the difference for Charlotte lately. Coming off a massive game against Hartford. All the way back for Pack. And Roberts. High pressure from Pittsburgh, wins it back in a good area, but Fuchs gets it to safety. We had a great chat with Mike Jeffries about what it's like going up against a Bob Lilly coach team and how much early on it's just a chess match. You're not sure what you're going to get. He joked they take bets on what the lineup is going to look like because you never know what Bob Lilly is going to throw at you. And that's the difference between certain coaches and Bob Lilly. Coach Jeffries noted, sure, there are tweaks we will make within our system. Bob Lilly just changes systems. Forget tweaks within the system. He changes systems.
He changes systems, changes players. You know, the personnel is the big one for me because the joke we have behind the scenes from all the announcers, and we mean this with the highest amount of respect for the manager, is he'll take a striker coming out of college who scored 20 goals, turn him into an all-league center back, right? He'll take a goalkeeper who had a shutout record at the D3 level and turn him into a striker. That's just kind of the capability that he has beneath himself as a coach, and he's so good, more importantly, at isolating the weaknesses from an opposition and then exploiting them. There are not many managers that I'd feel more comfortable with at the helm of my team than Bob Lilly.
Service in is dealt with initially by Mikael Williams off the thigh. But if there's one team that they've struggled with, it has been Charlotte lately. Johnson inside, good ball, Marveau, it's just wide. With the form he's been in and what he did last week, you would have expected it to be 1-0 Charlotte 4 minutes in.
Couple of minutes in, with the question already being what was it going to look like on the back line. You put Johnson at right back. Can he get into a very high and advanced position and still find the collaboration between he and Sylvain Marveau? Inside 5 minutes, the answer is yes. This is the combination that Mike Jeffries loves, and that pocket of space just in front of the back line to exploit.
ball hit me. I'm in. Put me in, coach. Put me in, coach.
Adam Armour gets it back into play and swings it around the back. Fuchs brings a calming presence at the back for Charlotte. Martinez wins it. Oberton there for support. Now for a throw. Take a look at the injury report tonight, brought to you by Novant Health. None reported officially for Charlotte. Dane Kelly still out, working his way back. And Dequan Gatt, the two listed as out for Pittsburgh. Bernardo Forbes gets it into space for Preston Kilwine. Now ranging forward, Armstrong had the shot early on as no one collapsed to him. Inside Forbes. Cicerone makes the run. Forbes spotted him, puts it on a dime for Cicerone, but the flag goes up.
Gotta get over everyone. You're leaving too many gaps. Get on the ball. It's too easy. It's too easy.
That combo of Forbes and Cicerone, lethal all season. 14 goals for Cicerone, and of course the league's all-time assist king, Bernardo Forbes. Don't forget Alex Dixon in there as well with all he's been able to do. Forbes finds a pocket of space. Palomino trying to win it. Streamed along towards Wharton. Long run to keep it in. He does. Back for Dixon. Dixon does well to keep it in. Oberton crashing back. Martinez, nifty little flick to Oberton in space, but well read. Stepping into it, Shane Wheat. Long run coming from Joel Johnson. Marveau cuts inside. Those two nearly linked up for a goal a couple moments ago. Great ball in from Marveau, but the flag up on Johnson.
40 years ago today, the Carolina Lightning won the 1981 American Soccer League Championship.
Here are tonight's keys to the game, brought to you by Gatorade. What do you got for us, Devin?
Tempo when it comes to the Charlotte Independents is everything. Quick transitional movements, utilize the pace that you have, and really challenge the Pittsburgh Riverhounds defensively. Do not allow them to set their grounds, because once they dig down they are almost impossible to break down. And it's a pocket presence for Bob Lilly. Whether it's Dixon, Cicerone, Forbes, Griffin stepping up, Wharton running through, they have to make sure they challenge on the interior, really win the midfield so that they can dance on the ball and they can then dictate the tempo for their side of things as opposed to chasing the Independents.
And Charlotte offensively recently, 12 goals in the last 5 games. Things have sprung to life.
Oh, I think I like the coach from the other team. He's like a dude.
Marveau finds Oberton on the switch. A little strong off the chest, and Dover says thank you very much. Here's Dixon. Dixon around the corner. Fuchs closes in, blocks it, and keeps it in. Avoids conceding the corner. Pittsburgh navigated their tough stretch of 8 games in a month. Now they play a more regular schedule once a week. Happy to get back into a rhythm. Irvin Parra working on Williams. Parra turns him around, puts the ball in. Nodded away by Kilwine. Here's a look at Bob Lilly. Very happy to be out of that stretch of 8 games in a month now to a point where they can start working on a lot of the little things. He mentioned the detail orientation of this team. That's what gives them the ability to go on and succeed. And being able to have a regular training schedule, games on the weekends, that goes a long way in ironing things out.
Slow things down a little bit. You don't have to worry about the regeneration part as much. You can just naturally take care of your body as opposed to really just going through the motions. You're trying to find a way to be successful.
Chested down, chance here, and it's just wide. Martinez almost looks surprised the flag stayed down, and that's 2 great opportunities now for Charlotte that are just inches wide of the far post.
He's surprised. And how about Mikel Williams? There's an unwillingness to step in here. Just allow Enzo Martinez to bring this down, expecting a little help from the assistant referee on the far sideline. No reason whatsoever you let him have that much time, because normally that ends up in the back of the net.
Number 7 shot that, Rich. 19. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Martinez. Ooh.
Roberts gets ahead to it. Here's Armstrong. A little bit too strong on that challenge on Martinez. I went a little too deep for Roberts. Inside, Cicerone, a chance here, cuts it back. Dixon, Forbes overran it. Out for Armstrong. Good ball in towards Cicerone. 10 minutes gone, opportunities at either end for both sides. If you are traveling to Charlotte to see an Independence game, make sure you stay at the Hyatt Place downtown. The Hyatt Place is just blocks from the games and surrounded by endless dining options. Hyatt Place downtown, the official hotel of the Charlotte Independence. Foul against Dover. You can hear Bob Lilly shouting out the instructions, making sure everybody's lined up properly.
Well, the problem isn't necessarily that they're lined up properly. It's the fact that because they're giving so much respect to the Independents right now, even though you might be in the right spot, you immediately have to respond and chase space, chase a player. And that's really tweaking the shape. And that's the part that he's not happy about, because he's just sitting back and going, guys, you got to start moving. You know, even just now, the little challenge on the near side, Jordan Dover of old isn't getting stuck in there. He's already got pressure on the player coming to the sideline. So they're late in reaction. It's the quick tempo that we talked about from Charlotte Independence, just keeping the ball movement going from side to side. They're going vertical, and it's really causing a lot of frustration for the Riverhounds.
Another vertical ball in. Williams was waiting for Vitiello, never came out. Turns and shouts at his keeper.
I think the other thing, too, is the fact that you've got Irvin Parra staying centrally located, but Enzo Martinez rotating a lot. Marveau pushing himself inside, and then Johnson having his way.
Vitiello came up for that one, left the goal vacant. Fortunately for Pittsburgh, it was knotted away by Dover. And now a corner coming for the home side. Corner kicks brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
While leading the league in attendance, Vincent's Charlotte team tennis franchise also won the team tennis league championship in its first 2 years.
Martinez showing short as an option. But it's driven into the center of the box, skimmed along. Ezra Armstrong got ahead to it. Chance to get a secondary ball in from Bronico. In swinging with the left foot, Vitiello corrals it.
Corner kicks are presented by Chick-fil-A again tonight.
Vitiello among the top 5 in the league in goals against average for a Bob Lilly coach squad that in 118 games in all competitions for Pittsburgh has a 0.87 goals against average. The life of a goalkeeper in a Bob Lilly system is a nice, easy life to have.
How good was that by Mike Jeffries? It's nice to be a goalkeeper under Bob Lilly. He's right, though. But, you know, you sometimes look at the goalkeeper's numbers and think, okay, it's a Bob Lilly goalkeeper. They're just all going to be successful. That's not the case, because goalkeepers that have left have continued this success abroad, whether it be within the United States or stepping across the pond. And Danny Vitiello, he's someone, you can't look at him and think that he's benefiting just from Bob Lilly and his mastermind. Yes, that's part of it. This guy had 21 shutouts in college. 21 shutouts in 50 games. Almost half the time that he stepped onto the field, he was keeping a clean sheet. And his goals against average was below 1. So the writing was on the wall before he walked into the league. But you take that, you take Bob Lilly, guys like Kilwine, Williams, and then it starts from the top, though, and the willingness to do the work. Cicerone and his engine back in front. Canardo Forbes, who's followed Bob Lilly as his disciple everywhere that he's gone. When you put all of that together, that is why the manager has carried a goals against average for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds of less than 1. They're currently at .87 goals against through 118 games. They've only given up 103 goals. It's an astronomical number put up, and he's also done it prior to his time in Pittsburgh.
Austin Pack on the other end for Charlotte. 6 starts for Pittsburgh in 2019. Vitiello ripped my heart out once in college, actually, when he was at Albany against Maryland in the NCAA tournament, a game that went to penalties, and he stopped, I think, 2 penalties in that shootout.
Austin Pack, part of the really transitional window that was the acquisitions, that started with Christian Fuchs. Of course, Sylvain Marveaux has come into play. You've also seen really a reincarnation of the great form in Irvin Parra. Brandon Miller goes down with injury. He was struggling with form at that point in time as well. So was the back line. And so you start to tweak all of those things. You add the quality of players, and not good, but the quality within some of the internationals that have come in. Everything just trending in the right direction for the Charlotte Independents right now.
Irvin Parra looking like 2019 Irvin Parra with the 15 goals and 7 assists that season. Leads the way with 9. Dane Kelly behind him with 7. And again, as we talk about Charlotte in the playoff race and into the playoffs itself, we're talking about a team that's been doing all of this right now without Dane Kelly. Adam Armour. That battle won by Dover.
Fans for holistic wellness and all natural recovery therapies, visit the Invigorate.
Vitiello opens up for Wheat. He mishit that one.
They're doing well so far. Charlotte Independents as they move here. Good rotation, challenging. Pittsburgh Riverhounds love the responsibility so far of Sylvain Marveaux and Gabriel Auberton just coming to the inside. You basically right now are getting everything that you've seen over the past couple of months in that 3-back style system, where they take chances moving forward. Of course, more importantly, they have bodies in the midfield. For Pittsburgh Riverhounds to be successful today, they have to win the midfield battle. That seems like something that a lot of announcers will talk about within a game in general, but that's not the case. In this match, for Charlotte, they don't have to win the midfield. They actually want to win on the outside, but because of the overload, they have so much space on the outside. All of their success right now is coming from the flanks, but it's because of the fact that they're running 5 and 6 on the inside, and the Riverhounds just aren't tracking.
Johnson, good ball. Looking for Parra. Vitiello, a confident punch away. Fuchs, Armour, a shrug from Bob Lilly down on the sideline. Swung in by Armour, flicked on, Marveaux! It's saved by Vitiello.
That's a Chick-fil-A corner kick for the Independents.
That's 2 great chances now for Marveaux. One went just wide. Vitiello kept this one out.
This is the inversion that I'm talking about, where you take your outside midfielder Auberton. As he comes to the inside, not only does he pull a Pittsburgh Riverhounds player with him, look at the space down in the channel that's given to him. Fantastically done in that 1-2 between he and Armour. And then the individual skill on the inside. Unselfish by Parra. Marveaux comes from the right flank. That's the numbers on the inside. More importantly, the space on the outside for the Independents to be successful with.
Chick-fil-A corner kick. Again, first met by Armstrong, as the last one was. Johnson, Auberton. He floats one all the way across. Long run to keep it in for Palomino. Martinez. We'll take 3 on the corner now.
That's another Chick-fil-A corner kick for the Independents.
It's never good when Bob Lilly has ventured out of the technical area. Still talking, 20 minutes in. It's by now you would like him to at least have 1 seat, grabbing a Gatorade, and he's still going right now. His team's struggling.
Defending a third Chick-fil-A corner. Good delivery. Top of the 6, right in the middle. Volleyed from distance and laid off by Roberts. Swung back in. Open man was Fuchs, just over the head. Martinez keeps the attack alive. Slips one through for Marveaux. Wheat dispatches it. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit www.selectsportamerica.com. within each game, I do enjoy keeping an eye on Bob Lilly and what he does. You get a sense of how Pittsburgh is performing in the game just by watching his reactions.
What I love about him, too, is not just him, but if you listen to the direction, Mike Jeffries, he sniffed it out. He knows what can be done. Now, what will be done is a totally another argument coming out of the Bob Lilly camp. I love watching him and to see the changes that he makes. Because whether they're up or they're trailing, he'll change his system 3 or 4 times within a match, sometimes twice and a half.
Great ball in, flag stays down, save again by Vitiello on Johnson. A lot of confused looks on the back line there for Pittsburgh. Williams and Kilwine having words. Pittsburgh fortunate 20 minutes in to be 0-0. Another chance here, saved again by Vitiello.
Fans, let's hear it. Come on, you Jacks.
Well, the first one, you wonder whether or not he's in an offside position. This ball is a dime up over the top. The run back through had to be absolutely perfect. Times it in the exact manner across that tee. Can't dot the I, though. Bring it back across the body, get it on the left foot. Joel Johnson favoring his right side. And another outside midfielder. First you come restricted from the outside back. Then you come with Gabriel. Again, it's the space on the outside and how to exploit it. You pressure down into the channel, then you go right down Route 1.
It is all Charlotte right now. They're just lacking a goal. Here's Palomino. Dixon looking to get it away, and just a hustle from Fuchs.
Fans, the biggest lacrosse showcase is coming to Memorial Stadium March 5th. The Crown Lacrosse
Talk about the goalkeeper in Bob Lilly's system as we were earlier. It's not just that. Sometimes you're going to have to make some big saves, and Vitiello's already made a handful of them.
Collegiate players from the Charlotte region playing for their teams. Get your tickets at thecrownlacrosse.com.
Dover sent back a bit. Gets it into Forbes. Official gets in the way. He'll restart it here after the whistle. Folks, we'd like to welcome our supporters at the game tonight. We want to thank all the supporters from the Mecklenburg Reserves and the Independence Ultras to the game. Check these supporters groups out online and plug into these great groups that love soccer and work to make Charlotte a better place to live through sports.
While helping the franchise lead the American Soccer League in attendance in all 3 years.
Over the last month and a half, Charlotte has certainly made its presence known as one of these teams in the powerful Atlantic Division. And as you look out, broad picture view of the Eastern Conference as a whole, I've been meaning to ask you this question, Devin. Louisville's up there from the Central. Would you argue that the next 4 are all of the Atlantic Division teams before you get to another Central Division team?
So, I'll tell you this. It's a very good question, number one. Actually had a friendly little spat with a coach this week. We went back and forth about this, talking about how teams in the Atlantic would fare against the Central and vice versa. I lean towards the Atlantic. Let's just say the party in question didn't agree with me fully and felt like the Central isn't given enough credit. I do think that Tulsa and Birmingham are extremely talented. I'm only saying those 3 because, respectfully, I don't see another team in that division that could have any sort of say in this right now. I do think that when you go Rowdies, Riverhounds, Miami, Charlotte, all of them are extremely dangerous. How dangerous is the question? You know what the Tampa Bay Rowdies are capable of. I said the resume for the Riverhounds was a big thing for me because out of the 14, only 2 are against playoff teams, and they're earlier on this season, right? So kind of the what have you done for me lately. Everybody else, Miami, Charlotte, they've not only beaten teams, they've beaten good teams and recently. Form is one thing, but who you're playing is another. Pittsburgh haven't done that. And so when you combine all of that together, I think that's a very fair argument. I look at Louisville, I look at the Rowdies, I look at Pittsburgh. Those are kind of my 3 favorites in general. And then if I have to name other teams, I'm going with the Miami. I'm looking down the road a little bit at Charlotte and saying that team if it continues to get better and stay healthy because of their age, they can make some noise. It's very difficult for me to bring Tulsa and Birmingham into the argument because of the consistency or lack thereof of their performances.
And the beauty of the playoff format this season is we're going to see all those matchups round one.
Yeah, and understand this, because this is a big one too. The format has changed again. You go by seeds in the first round. Then it goes to points. So how does that play out? Even though the teams in the Atlantic may be better, they may be deeper, their form may be better, they're all playing each other at the end of the season. I mentioned 4 out of 7 remaining games for the Riverhounds are against teams that are currently in playoff position. Obviously, Charlotte right now is one of them. They still got to play Miami twice, and they have to play the Rowdies as well. When you're beating up on each other, you're not compiling as many points, which means that second round game, if you can get through the first one, even if you have a higher seed, you may have to go on the road. You could be a 2 seed playing a 4 team or a 3 team, and you're going on the road. That's not a fun one.
And I mean, no disrespect, but the standings are the standings. But those teams you mentioned have already, for the most part, played all of their Loudoun and New York Red Bulls games as well.
Yeah.
25 gone, 6 shots, 3 on target for Charlotte, and 3 big saves from Vitiello. On the other end, 2 shots, 1 on target for Pittsburgh, and the 1 on target was a half-hearted chance from Armstrong very early on. Austin Pack has not had much work to do. Dixon, Dover, nice patience there, but couldn't slip it by a sliding armor. Acres of space for Joel Johnson. Palomino there for support, slips into space. Marveau ahead of him. Oohs and ahs from the crowd as he spins through Armstrong and Wheat. That's one thing you'll hear Bob Lilly shout a lot in the course of a game is together as they move up. Of all the things that we could pick up from the crowd mic or the field mic down there, together is the word I hear most. And you've been able to do a lot of his games, talk to him a lot. What does he mean exactly by that? Because it's something the fans will hear throughout a game, minute 1 to minute 90.
Well, it's easy enough for one player to go with the runner and step in and go win a tackle. The problem is either A, if you don't win the tackle, or B, you're stuck in a 1v1. What does the space around you look like? So when he's asking them to move in synchronicity, it's everybody sliding one direction together or the other way so that everything is closed down.
Here's Forbes. He's got a couple of bangers this season. Bypasses the shot, lays it off. Here's Dover. Blocked by Fuchs. Corner coming for Pittsburgh.
That's the greatness about his teams. Would make the argument that this year it's gotten better in that fashion on the offensive side of the ball as well, so that when they go forward, they move as one unit. It's not Dixon, it's not Cicerone, it's all of them, and with multiple options too. This team in years past, we know that they can defend, but who is going to be the guy to step up was the question. Now it's how many options do you have? It's not just that one guy, especially with the injury to Dequa. It's who else is available when you get inside the box.
The league's assist king on the corner with 6 assists this season. Swings it in. And he'll do it again. Take 2 from Forbes. Better one that time. But nothing Mikael Williams could do with it. Fans, on Saturday, October 16th, the Independents will be working with kit sponsors Novant Health to drive awareness and raise money for the fight against breast cancer. Join us as we wear these special kits when we face the Charleston Battery in a Southern Derby with playoff implications. We actually haven't gotten around to talking about these kits yet for Charlotte. We'll get there in a second, because Armour's in some space with Parra streaking down the middle. Back out for Armour. Into the end line, puts it across, saved by Vitiello on his own man.
That's a close one here. Well done by Danny Vitiello. Second bite of the apple for Charlotte Independence. Once again, getting Adam Armour down into that bottom channel. You can see that Jordan Dover just struggling with the pace of Armour right now. It's nothing revolutionary from the Charlotte Independence, but as they go, the step a bit quicker. Top end speed there for the youngster from Burlington, North Carolina. One of the many players on loan here for the Independence. Of course, will be spending his future with Charlotte FC, currently on loan.
Marveau looking for Obertal. Doesn't get it by Dover. Forbes trying to alleviate the pressure as we're a half an hour into it. With Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa. Thanks for tuning in this evening. Big matchup in the Atlantic Division. Second place Pittsburgh, fourth place Charlotte. Fourth and final regular season meeting of the season. Charlotte leads 2-1. Uncomfortable ball back for Vitiello here with Parra breathing down his neck.
Well, the midfield shape is another conversation for Pittsburgh right now. They've shown a couple of different looks without any success so far. They've gone flat three in the middle. They've pushed Wharton up as their sort of 10-looking attacking option. Canado Forbes has fulfilled the same role. Right now sitting more in a triangular shape that we've seen so many games before with Danny Griffin underneath Wharton and Forbes, and yet still really struggling in combination play. That is because of the influx of players by the Independents, both defensively and moving forward. A bit surprised that he hasn't made a change on the back line and switched into a 4. You have to imagine, though, as we approach halftime, that they're going to look for more speed. It just looks stagnant. Whether it be Ezra Armstrong or Jordan Dover, they're struggling in transition. Without changing personnel, you could just pinch one of them back. Would imagine that that would be Dover. Drop him into a 4. It's almost the exact same switch that Charlotte Independence made, to be fair. But right now, Bob Lilly sort of chasing the inner desire of what was their vision coming into the match. Whether or not that actually comes to fruition is a whole nother argument.
And do well to get across midfield here. Cicerone, hopeful ball across for Dixon. And Fuchs comes away. Johnson into space. Well done between he and Marveau. Now springing Parra. Vitiello misses it. Parra trying to find it, and Dover clears. Nice move by Cicerone. Obertal takes him down. Free kick coming for the visitors.
Oh, he doesn't like the call here. Beautiful skill set on display for Russell Cicerone. Recognizes the pressure coming. Just a quick little pullback and across against a seasoned veteran in Gabriel Obertal. His argument is it's shoulder to shoulder. It is on the backside of the left shoulder of Russell Cicerone, though. That high-end speed, one of his biggest assets. And now you gift the all-time assist leader in Canado Forbes within the USL Championship a little bit of a makeshift corner here. Difficult to get up and down. Plenty of height available for the Riverhounds within the box. Wonder if they run any sort of stunt to try and get something to the top of the 18.
Forbes swings it in. Roberts has it down. Dixon right into the midst of Austin Pack.
The answer is yes, but indirectly, right? They go direct. Little bounce back. Hugh Roberts would like that one back as he tries to push this away. His momentum just squares his shoulders up a little more than he would like. Brings it right down the middle. Able to get a second chance off.
Mikael Williams over for a talk. Well, we have a break in the action, circling back to what I mentioned before, and we'll have more on it at the half. These throwback kits, the replicas that Charlotte's wearing tonight, they get a thumbs up for me. They did a great job.
I'm here. I'm just, there's no buy it now button on mine. So they're in the honoring of the 40th anniversary. on the Lightning. They are players get one, and then they're auctioning one off of the players as well. You go online, you can bid on it. No buy it now, though, so I don't think I'll be involved. The game check is out the window.
Again, we'll have more on that at the half. Great story here tonight as they celebrate some of the local history.
I'd say that the good news is Mikael Williams and Shane Wheat have settled down on the back line. Now they just need to lock down the space to his right shoulder. The left has slowed progressively. Preston Kilwine, Ezra Armstrong defensively have gotten better. Need more of a presence moving forward, but the fact that it's 35 minutes in, 0-0 with all the opportunities that Charlotte have created is definitely a positive talking point. As slow it has been for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Still the 0-0, that's quality.
Marveau against Kilwine. Vitiello wasn't sure if it was passed back or not. Just deals with it with his feet. Two clubs battling over the Atlantic Division's final playoff spot takes center stage when the USL on ESPN continues. It's this Charlotte Independent squad traveling north to Dillon Stadium to take on Hartford Athletic Thursday, September 30th, 8 p.m. Eastern, ESPN Deportes.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling.
It's a really good look at the shape. Just notice how spread out it is because it goes from the three, the wingback struggle with the space in behind. There's the midfield space. And everybody's just chasing. If you're in a yellow jersey right now, you are tired. You are tired of chasing. You are tired of letting the Independents have their way with you. This is about communication and, more importantly, execution. Because it's kind of that lead a horse to water, right? You can only give them so many options right now, and Bob Lilly has given them the blueprint. They're just not executing. This isn't about tactics right now. It's about being quicker in their step, getting stuck in when need be, and upping your communication with all the rotation. That's what it's going to come down to.
Whatever.
Vitiello has bailed them out a couple of times. And it'll show up that he only has 3 saves with 3 shots on target, but don't forget, arguably the toughest one he had to make was on that one that changed directions off of Mikael Williams. That's not going to show up as a save coming off his own player, but just as big and got the same job done. Bronico. Armour. Back for Brent Bronico. Palomino. Martinez. It's a square ball across. Here's Armour. Overlap was there from Bronico. Armour goes inside instead, and Cicerone turns it aside. Overton inside. Parra for Johnson. Johnson gets the ball in towards Overton. Again, it's Vitiello plucking it out of the air. Fans, tailgating is now allowed at your Independence games. You can reserve your spot by going to charlotteindependence.com to get that reserved tailgate spot today.
Even if they were to acquire more possession of the ball, watch the marking by Charlotte Independents. Everybody tracking pretty impressively so far. You look up, all the options covered. Andy Griffin comes deeper. Canado Forbes has a shadow in the form of Brant Bronico. Good passing off. Enzo Martinez and Marveau. Those two right now have become extremely interesting because of all of their movement. Just a second, Martinez far on the right wing. Marveau sitting as a false 9 now. Overton have come back to the inside. The question for them is, can they keep that up for a full 90? Can all of that movement off the ball, back to front, translate to a total performance offensively and defensively?
Marveau makes the run, foot race with Vitiello, and the keeper gets there. Mike Jeffries was very curious to see how Pittsburgh would come out and handle Marveau. He touched on a couple of games he looked at in the past where Bob Lilly has used certain guys to man mark. Was questioning whether or not that might be the case with Marveau, but he has slipped loose a number of times in this one.
He's a little bit more predictable than the people that have been man-marked in the past by Bob Lilly. Ariel Martinez earlier this season for Miami FC was one of them. And all of my friends in Pittsburgh are going to enjoy the next reference because it is part of an unspoken rule. The name that I'm going to bring up, there is an action that goes along with it. Tyler Pasher, bottoms up, was actually involved in that equation as well. And he used Danny Rivera, the wingback, as a man marker last season. But the difference between those two and Marveau is, although Marveau moves a lot off the ball, he primarily stays in, an isolated location on that right-hand side. Now, he'll come in, he'll attack the central spots, but he's not going to move left to right or drop as deep as those other two players will. Those guys go ball hunting. Marveau fulfills his role and makes sure that he's always connected with someone like an Enzo Martinez or Joel Johnson. You can't say the same because Martinez and Pasher would just go create on their own.
The other impact that Mike Jeffries touched on since bringing in Marveau, it's that it's forced all of the other players on that top line to get ready to make a run as soon as he gets the ball, because he will find you with his vision and with his precision on the touch. He will get it to where it's supposed to go.
And if not, he'll just go do it himself. I mean, still, till this day, one of the best individual performances I've ever seen in the league, ever. My time started in 2017. Was going back, I'm pulling it up now, bear with me.
Flag was about to pop up on Parra, but Williams just guides it along.
I believe, actually might have been the Rowdies game on July 31st. Now I'm in trouble because I don't have the number in front of me, right? Right as he had come in, second or third game in an Independence uniform, and I do apologize for not having that off the top of my head. He was like 32 of 35 passing. He had a 92% passing accuracy, or 95%. We all know my math is terrible. A goal and an assist. And just, there are some times when you watch a player play, it's the speed, it's the fitness, the physicality. More importantly, from a mental standpoint, they're just on another level. Sylvain Marveau has carried that throughout his entire tenure within the Independents. He pushes them to another level. And to your point, when they move into the final third, he's doing that every game and just drags the whole team with him.
Go ahead.
He pulls everybody to the next notch up. Can you do that every game? There are not many players, yes. Simple. Not many guys can step in and say, coming with me now, I'm bringing, I'm going, and then it continues to follow suit.
4 goals, 3 assists in his 11 games so far. Overton played previously with Marveau at Newcastle. And the flag this time does pop up on Parra. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Meola, Rodney Marsh, and USL All Access with Mike Watts and Devin Kerr every Tuesday night at 7 Eastern. You can also hear live action from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. This game and its implications might take up a spot on your show this Tuesday.
That's well done by Jordan Dover, and I can't see how it couldn't. There were 5 games coming in tonight of teams currently sitting in playoff position playing another playoff team. This is one of them. Had a keen eye on it, wondering how it was going to play out. Talked a couple of times already, both in the open and within this match, that everybody's sort of waiting for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds to step up and have one of those key victories this season.
Martinez, he stumbled over it, but it's still alive. Parra, and it's out for a goal kick.
I can't recall in recent memory a Pittsburgh Riverhounds performance this flat to start a match. I've seen them taper as the game has gone on because they've gotten tired. And yet still, here's the big thing. Through all the praise, for all the great play and chances created, this is a 0-0 game. So I certainly would not want to be in the dressing room at halftime in a yellow jersey. The counter argument is it's still 0-0. 6 shots for the Independents, 3 of which have hit the target, none of which, the most important stat, have ended up in the back of the net. So through all of their quality, they have not broken through. That's got to be the perfect brilliance right there of Bob Lilly, right? A little bit of luck, too.
Well read by Armstrong, stepping up into the space past Joel Johnson. Told as of now there will be no stoppage time here in the first half. Forbes inside. Now Dixon, a chance for Dixon! That would have been something going into the half after all you just said, Devin, for Pittsburgh to take a lead.
What have I said the entire first half, though? We've talked about it. It's the rapidity of play. Pick up the pace. I said tempo is everything for Charlotte, and they have dictated that to perfection. But for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, the best sequence we see just before halftime, great combination play, movement off the ball. You get Griffin, Forbes, right on the inside, and then you bring Cicerone down into the pocket. Alex Dixon is the benefactor once they move right to the top of the 18. That is the Pittsburgh Riverhounds that we have come to know and love over the course of the season. Can they show up? Is that the springboard right there for them to have success in the second half?
Not a bad way to take some momentum into the break. It's 0-0 right now between the Riverhounds and Independents in a game that is feeling like a playoff game here in the middle of September. Two teams that will seemingly be there in November. Might they play each other at some point then? We'll find out. They still have 45 minutes to go against each other here. We're back with the Complete Construction Services halftime show in just a moment.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
There are currently 2 million American spouses and children whose family member was killed or disabled in defense of our country, which is why I founded the Folds of Honor, providing educational scholarships to the families of 1% of the Americans who protect our freedom.
Thank you for supporting the Folds of Honor.
Thank you for supporting the Fold of Honor.
Please join our squadron today. Your $13 a month speaks volumes and changes lives forever.
Duckworth's Grill and Tap House is your destination for great food. Duckworth's is open for dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Make sure you complete your order with an ice-cold Pepsi. Duckworth's is locally owned and operated. Pepsi, that's what I like.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Celebration coming up for the anniversary team of the Carolina Lightning. We'll have more on that in the next segment, but first we take a look around USL Championship with some news and notes. Hispanic Heritage Month. To learn more, you can head over to the website. So much going on right now around the league. And groundbreaking moment, Monterey Bay. We welcome them next year. They break ground on their stadium. And your Clear Audio Player of the Week, Jan Ekra, 2 goals, 2 assists against New York Red Bulls 2 in a 6-0 win for Tampa Bay last week. We take a look around the league at some out-of-town scores brought to you by Hyatt Place Hotel. A lot going on in the midweek this week, Devin.
Only 11 players, by the way, in the history of the league have had 2 goals and 2 assists in one game.
Really?
11. Pretty impressive, huh? So, Jan Ekra doing great things for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. how does this play out moving forward for some of these teams? The Colorado Springs-El Paso game was an interesting one. Actually, kind of like this, where you had so many opportunities and just never really translated to anything. Oakland Roots on a nice run of form. They're within playoff race.
If they win later tonight, as we take a look at the upcoming schedule brought to you by Hyatt Place Hotel, they can end the night above the playoff line, which is remarkable considering where they were.
Good on them. It's fantastic. And coming down the stretch, these are the games that you got to win, though, right? It's the matchup against your San Diego Loyals. Sacramento Republic chasing down that number 4 spot, which includes Oakland Roots in front of them. Of course, Tacoma Defiance currently occupying that spot within the Pacific. Austin Bold, El Paso Locomotive. Love what Ryan Thompson has done, stepping in as the head coach from Austin Bold. He's really let them run rampant. Can they take down El Paso Locomotive? That should be a great game.
And now we look at the upcoming ESPN schedule. You see Charlotte there, ESPN Deportes on the 30th. That could be a massive game deciding this playoff race against Hartford.
And New Mexico United on the road at Louisville. New Mexico United, another one of the teams, just a massive amount of talent. They're like a Hartford. They're like a Battery. Teams that are right there on the playoff line, and yet still on the outside looking in. Currently 4 points back of Austin Bold virtually. That could be a game with 3 weeks to go in the season that you get that win. That gets you into playoff position on the road at Lynn Family Stadium. And then the next thing you know, you get on this run, you get into the playoffs, things look a lot better down the stretch. But remember, you got to go on the road. You got to beat Louisville. Those two usually don't go hand in hand.
Especially once the calendar turns to October. We'll be back in a moment as we celebrate the men on the field and take a trip down memory lane.
I am a first-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming, because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
Tees it up, what a strike, and what a goal! Hartford has a goal! His right-footed shot, and it's in! Knocked away. Looking for Parra, could fall for an opportunity here, the shot comes in! Oh, it's brilliant!
I did get an interesting text from someone in the Phoenix organization talking about how big and physical that game was, and maybe they didn't necessarily know it was going to be just like that. I think they got a good taste. By the way, in case you're wondering, Forrest Lasso is competing for the Summer Olympics in gymnastics. Just wanted you to know.
So is Lee Cohen. He was part of that routine.
Bring it to me.
Forrest Lasso, the defender of the year, leaping over the ad boards and pirouetting his way toward the dugout.
Hey guys, this is Gabby Douglas. If you have an active lifestyle like me, hydration is key. That's why I love the Hydration Watermelon Smoothie from Smoothie King. With more electrolytes than some of the leading sports drinks, it's a cleaner way to hydrate and recover, with no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. So try the Hydration Watermelon Smoothie from Smoothie King. Order online for pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
And we are back here in Charlotte. 40 years ago today, the Carolina Lightning won the 1981 American Soccer League Championship, Charlotte's first pro sports title, defeating the New York United 2-1 in front of 20,163 fans at Charlotte Memorial Stadium. Because of its success on and off the field, the 1981 Carolina Lightning was the first team inducted into the North Carolina Soccer Hall of Fame's Hall of Honor. It's a team that was headlined by the likes of English international Rodney Marsh, captain David Power, local star Tony Suarez, and assistant coach Bobby Moore, who starred as a player on England's 1966 World Cup winning team. The North Carolina Soccer Hall of Fame class of 2021 is also being honored tonight, and it includes Tori Staples Bryan, who starred at NC State, local high school coaches Paul Dinacour and Tim Guter, and lastly referee Roger Morton. The jersey the Independents are wearing tonight pay homage to that 1981 Carolina Lightning squad, and they're being auctioned off at shopcharlotteindependence.com. Dave, do we have an update on some of those prices?
We do. As mentioned, there is still no buy it now button, so I apologize to everybody at home. Most everybody floating right between the 150 mark. Christian Fuchs, of course, running away with it. The current bid on his jersey is $400. Wow. I'm going to have to do a couple more games before I pull out the wallet for that one. There are some interesting bids. Hugh Roberts is at $111. Not exactly sure why that is. My man, Jake Arman, fan favorite, $180.
Okay.
Like that number. This is the best one, though. Marcelo Palomino, who's great. I love him in the midfield. $119.88. That's an interesting bid. That's the silent auction bid where maybe you've had a little bit too many of the free drinks.
Well, you know what? Somebody at home find an 89th cent, and Marcelo Palomino's jersey could be yours. We're back in a moment with highlights and stats from half number one.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Fun fact, you know Mountain Dew and spicy chicken is the perfect combo?
Does it look like I don't know that?
Okay. Didn't mean to ruffle your feathers.
You know, we both did the employee training, Gary.
Okay, don't jump down my beak.
Doing spicy? Do the do.
There are currently 2 million American spouses and children whose family member was killed or disabled in defense of our country, which is why I founded the Folds of Honor, providing educational scholarships to the families of 1% of the Americans who protect our freedom.
Thank you for supporting the Folds of Honor.
Thank you for supporting the Fold of Honor.
Please join our squadron today. Your $13 a month speaks volumes and changes lives forever.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Celebrations continue on the field, honoring the past team of 1981's Carolina Lightning. We take a look at highlights from half number one between Charlotte Independence and Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and the highlights are brought to you by Duckworth's.
The outlawed tunes on outlawed pipes. Oh, Braveheart, what a good movie. I've always wanted to learn to play the bagpipe, by the way, and they were playing this team like a fiddle early on. I don't think I've seen a quicker start from an Independence team and a more flat start from a Pittsburgh Riverhounds team in an entire match, yet alone the fact that they've combined them together. Opening 20, 25 minutes, it was beautiful. Outside in, great movement down into the channels, really found ways to get guys like Sylvain Marveau and Enzo Martinez and Irvin Parra going. More importantly, got them going together. How about the little flick, Irvin Parra, who's playing at another level this year? Just pressure kept coming. How about this ball over the top? Good touch by Joel Johnson. The main issue and takeaway here is continue this run. His touch fails him a little bit in the sense that it gets behind him, but he also wants it on his right foot. Bring that across your body. Challenge Danny Vitiello. Get him off center. Get around the goalkeeper, stick it into the back of the net. Vitiello, though, as always, did well for himself. Great save coming off the box. Watch him, just a quick little touch. This is not an easy one. The one that almost ended up in the back of the net actually came off of his player. Another good save. Again, 7 shots, 4 hit the target. Vitiello should be happy. Bob Lilly should be happy. He's going to be unhappy because of the performance so far, but the fact that it's still 0-0, that's the most important stat through all of this, Joe.
Brought to you by Famous Toastery, and one thing not shown there, 4 shots on target officially, but again, that one that came off Mikael Williams, that might have been one of the better saves after seeing that highlight reel, that's saying something from Danny Vitiello. Maybe fortunate Pittsburgh to be 0-0, but then again, maybe fortunate for Charlotte after that last play right before the half where Dixon had a chance to make it 1-0 Pittsburgh at the last second of the first half. We'll take a look at the standings here in the Atlantic Division. Brought to you by Birdsong Brewing Company. As it stands right now, with these two teams battling it out, and as it stands, we take a point each.
They'd probably be happy with a point, given the standing. Again, most importantly, you don't want Hartford and you don't want Battery chasing you down, so the Independents would still maintain a 2-game cushion. That means in terms of results, and if you had to go get your wins, of course, virtually, even having a game in hand for the Charleston Battery, you still got to go win that match. This is going to be interesting as the night goes on. Tampa Bay Rowdies currently 1-0 up on Atlanta United 2. Obviously, this game is at 0-0. Miami and the Battery are in a weather delay. So that's pretty much the slate for this division. Of course, we got a couple Sunday games that can affect it too. But right now, Charlotte Independents got to feel a little bit hard done by the fact they didn't stick anything into the back of the net in the opening 45 minutes.
The one to watch there is Charleston. Will the streak come to an end?
I'll turn to you and said just before kick, I think this is the year. And I say I think because there's still plenty of games to get back into it. It's results like this where if this game ends in a draw, it doesn't even have to be 0-0, but if it ends in a draw, that virtual game that the Battery have, they go on the road and win against Miami. Now all of a sudden you're even on games and you're only 2 points back. So as great as it's been lately for the Charlotte Independents, the Charleston Battery are still right there. And the streak that you're referencing, of course, is they're the only team in the modern era, which dates back to 2011, that have made the playoffs every single year consecutively. It's the only team that can lay claim to that.
Charlotte has a tough stretch of 3 coming up. Home against Miami, at Legion, and at Hartford. They do, coming off of that, have Loudoun and Red Bulls at home, but the stretch of 3 coming up, that's something that Mike Anheuser's crew is going to be keeping a very keen eye on to see if this team starts to drop some points. Charlotte was ready to go. Pittsburgh now filing out onto the field. Ezra Armstrong stood out among some of the players for Pittsburgh in that first half, creating some of the chances. Pittsburgh from right to left in the yellow and black, and Charlotte from left to right in those baby blues with the yellow trim, honoring the 1981 Carolina Lightning squad. Second half about to get underway. It's 0-0. We have 45 to go in a matchup that is taking on a playoff feel. Second place Pittsburgh, fourth place Charlotte. A lot on the line as we enter the fall. When we had a chance to chat with Bob Lilly this week, talked about some of the areas where this squad can still improve. He said taking care of the ball better. There's been stretches where they may be loose in terms of the play, in terms of the decision making, and they have to iron some of those things out. It popped up here and there in the first half.
Shane, you should be getting Jordan higher on that last set. Jordy, eliminate a line. Eliminate a line.
I never circled back to it and actually took a look. Did he ever sit down in the first half? I don't know if you noticed.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
To be fair, he stands when he's happy too, but
that's
it's
true.
just more of a tendency to have a seat when the contention is at a higher level for Bob Lilly.
Dover off the backside. Across the block, that one was Armour, and an early corner here in this second half. Bob Lilly knows nothing is going to be easy in any of the matchups down the stretch because everybody's playing for something, whether it's a playoff spot, whether it's jockeying for a higher seed in a home game. Forbes drives it in towards Mikael Williams, who gets ahead to it, still alive, and finally cleared away by Fuchs. Dixon tried to pick the pocket of Armour. Obertal back to Armour. Early in the first half, Johnson had a massive impact. Didn't see as much from him in the last quarter hour, but he's been dangerous on that side with Marveau. Ball in towards Parra. Vidiello, heavy touch. And did he concede a corner or save it at the last? He conceded a corner.
That's a Chick-fil-A corner kick for the Independents.
And as I mentioned a moment ago, that's still what they want to clean up. Just having that moment where they're a little loose with the ball, Pittsburgh. And now it gives up a Chick-fil-A corner kick for Charlotte.
Certainly not the best of touches from the goalkeeper. Better that it happens there than within the run of play with other players around him, though. Then you really get yourself into hot water.
Martinez files it back out. Nice close. Ezra Armstrong showing the speed. Armstrong continues to run. Never got the ball from Cicerone.
He's got to hit that ball. Cicerone's got to release this. It's a beautiful run and sequence by the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. We talked about the cleanup. It doesn't get any sloppier than that. I haven't seen a lot of opportunity, not just within the Pittsburgh Riverhounds tonight, but an actual fluctuation defensively where the Independents have looked out of sorts. And that one on a quick counter coming off the set piece. That's a missed window.
Another counter here after a turnover. Forbes pulling the strings. Now for Armstrong. Cicerone gets by the first man, but couldn't get it past Johnson. Forbes in space. Griffin. Wharton to Dixon. Nice ball through. Chance here. Cicerone is saved by Johnson. Cicerone in disbelief.
How? He can't believe it. Neither can I. How does he not get more power on this? Magical. Check the run by Wharton, splits the back line, and then Cicerone just bides his time. As this comes back across, he just missed it. Simple enough. Comes right to him. It's square, and as he brings his foot across it, just doesn't get enough behind it to challenge the goalkeeper. That is not the Russell Cicerone of 2021 that we've seen to the tune of 14 goals and 5 assists so far.
You almost wonder if he thought he was alone.
It's kind of one
Johnson came sliding in.
It's almost too simple, right? It's not hearing footsteps. It's just, okay, let me go through the motion. Not even motions. All you have to do is let this thing bounce off you, basically. Can't even do it.
Forbes. Psychologically, it's a weird one because he got in behind the goalie, so he sees the goalie in front of him, knows the goalie is not there, but Johnson there to save the day.
The hardest work had already been done. All of the groundwork prior, whether it was Wharton on the little split through, Alex Dixon had dropped in. The check comes with Dixon. They don't pick up the runner for Wharton, and then Todd Wharton, just beautiful vision to not only understand that someone should be there, but that the run actually comes. For him to quick glimpse over and then find the runner, and not only that, it's not like he hits it with a tremendous amount of pace or there's a lot of spin on it. He hits this thing square. There's no English. This is a very simple step in for Cicerone, but it goes to show that even guys in top form have a rough night of it.
That's one of those that might end up on Twitter with a freeze frame of the moment. His foot made contact with the ball and leave people wondering how that somehow did not end up as a goal. But again, another quick attack against the grain of play from Pittsburgh. We saw it right at the end of the first half. We see it here early in the second half. Mikael Williams down on the ground now.
Bobby Moore, one of the world's greatest football players, was assistant coach with the Lightning in 1983 when he took the field for several games through a rash of injuries.
Gatorade is scientifically researched and game tested for athletes like your Jacks. When you need hydration, choose the official isotonic sports drink of the Charlotte Independents. Gatorade.
A role he held for a decade. FA Cup and European Cup winner.
Williams shakes it off. Back to the play.
West Ham United player for 16 years. World Cup All-Star. Order of the British Empire. FIFA World Cup all-time team. Soccer's greatest player of all time, Pele put it best, saying Bobby Moore is the best defender I've ever played against.
Wharton brings it back for Wheat. And along for Vitiello. Armstrong.
Maybe, I don't know.
Pressured by Johnson. Turns right into him. And it's saved by Cicerone. Somehow wins the throw for Pittsburgh. Armstrong, a player who has gotten a lot more time of late for Pittsburgh. We talk a lot about how players progress and grow in Bob Lilly's system. Just from my perspective, seeing Pittsburgh play over the last month and a half, Armstrong is one that has stood out to me, who has made a lot of strides from early in the season.
He's got a lot of experience for a 22-year-old, and yet still has a long way to come. And when you get under the tutelage of a manager like Bob Lilly, you're not going to hit the ground running right away. He asks so much of you. And so to acclimatize yourself into that system underneath that type of coach is a very difficult thing. And to your point, as the season has gone on, his level has risen. I will still say that far off from his talent level. That's someone who, given the role that has been carved out for him within here, I would expect more of him. The other side of that is when you have guys like Alex Dixon, Cicerone, Todd Wharton and Kennardo Forbes, the level of burden is placed a little bit more on their shoulders as opposed to Armstrong, which is great because that means that his ability to take those positive steps is going to be easier. Not easy, but an easier path. And so then all of a sudden you turn around and midway through the 2022 season, you're looking at Ezra Armstrong going 5 goals and 6 assists. Where'd that come from? It's a long line that is quite linear, but it's necessary in order for him to get there.
We've seen it in the past, Rhinos and Riverhounds. The longer Bob Lilly has his fingerprints on someone, the better it is for the team. Forbes drives one backside. Armstrong almost on cue, puts it over the bar.
Sat in his shoes so many times before. He knows this isn't the end product that he's looking for, but as it always comes through, watch him. He goes to jump and then pulls out of it and then comes down. That's one where if you jump too high, the ball's going to drop below you, and so you've already made that action, leaving your feet. If he doesn't leave his feet here, he can take all of that momentum from the ball and just redirect it on frame. Instead, it's that gray area. You've already gone vertical. You can't then readdress your positioning. Just have to find a way to put it on target. Can't put the two together.
Someone figures out a way to readjust and figure out the gravity. You get a Nobel Prize for doing something on the soccer field.
It's a little bit easier for someone at his height at 5'9". I've been in that situation before where, whether it's the wind or the pace of the ball, you just don't judge it correctly. I'm 6'5", just over. So when I jump, I just out-jump the thing, right? Someone a little bit shorter can get away with something like that because guys like that can usually jump through the roof. Ezra Armstrong has a pretty quality vertical underneath his wings. Doesn't need it there, but as he starts to leave, he recognizes, hey, I got to adjust here. It's just a little too late.
Great bit of play through the middle from Pittsburgh, and it'll be stopped for a handball against Dover. Tide turning in this one. Pittsburgh starting to find their footing a little bit.
I said to you about 20 minutes into the first half, this is great, and regardless of goals or not, can Charlotte maintain this? That's a very difficult thing to do for 90 minutes, and whether they've switched to 4 at the back and clogged the middle, if you've got overlapping runs down into the channel, very active up top, to continue to apply that type of pressure on both ends of the field is almost impossible. Especially when, to be fair, the way that we've seen them play since the acquisitions, very different. Quick-witted in nature at times, beautiful in build-up, never all at once, and certainly never for a full 90 minutes.
And goes back to what Mike Jeffries chatted with us about, that you never know what changes you're going to see from Bob Lilly even within a game. He might use 2-3 systems in one game, so imagine adjustments were certainly made at the half. Martinez, direct ball in, finds Parra, tried to flick it back to Johnson. We saw him pull off a flick like that earlier in the game. That set up Marveau with a golden opportunity, but not that time.
And your attention again, list of alternates for the post-game competition to win a Land Rover. Please report to the back of the press box. Red collar,
taken quickly. Marveau, and too strong on it as he's looking for Johnson. The USL's elite pre-professional platform, USL Academy, allows clubs to build a pathway to pro soccer by bringing together top local youth talent and helping them transition to their USL senior teams. For more info, visit usl-academy.com. Going back to the discussion we had earlier in the first half about kind of parsing through the Eastern Conference with the Central, with the Atlantic. We had a really deep talk with Bob Lilly about how this year, more so than some past years, there are a lot of teams who can win this, not just a couple at the top. And he just gushed over the devotion and commitment from ownership of so many teams to find and achieve that level of quality has really made this league as deep as it is and shown the parity throughout.
Just look at the weekly pick'em. I mean, all jokes aside, there's a couple of things happening, right? It's the talent level for sure. It's the devotion within a club. It's the owner, the presidents, you know, the work ethic that's being applied by all the players involved. But within that dedication comes a higher level of circumstances that promote you to a positive level, right? It's, okay, we're going to put more funds in, we're going to recruit better players, we're going to find a way to be more successful. And so you do have this gap where it's not just your Louisville, it's not just your Phoenix, right? I'm naming a couple of teams. You know, Cincinnati was in the mix back in 2018 prior to their departure, but there's not just 2 or 3 top-level teams.
Armstrong gets by to the end line, and it's saved away by Fuchs right before Wharton was there to put it home.
You get 6, 7, 8 teams. They're at a top level. And then the second wave is right there. They're not that far behind. Charlotte Independents are probably one of those teams that fall into that second category. Pittsburgh Riverhounds more on the top tier nature, at least historically from what we've seen. Doing a much better job here in the second half. We approach the hour mark. Everything's just quicker. I said to you in the first half, this wasn't about tactics. This was about execution. And when you're slow, when you're a bit delayed in your reactions, that's going to cause issues for you. Much different here in the second half. Pick up the speed of play, faster rotation, results will come. That's what you're seeing.
Another thing you mentioned back in that first half was the wingbacks were stagnant, and Armstrong and Dover. We've seen a lot of Armstrong and Dover in the second half.
They're two-way as well. At the tail end of the first half, they were sitting a bit deeper. Now, not only are they sitting and absorbing the pressure, they're willing to take that step. So it's causing Charlotte Independents on their end defensively to pin themselves back. So you're not seeing as many runs, and you addressed it probably about 5 minutes in. That 1-2 between Johnson and Marveau is not as frequent because of the deepness that Johnson is carrying from his defensive side. Adam Armour, the same argument. How busy were they in the first half because their line was so high? That line has now been reset. It gives the Pittsburgh Riverhounds more of an opportunity to dance on the ball, and it goes back to the tempo argument, right? I said tempo is everything for Charlotte. The pocket presence for Pittsburgh, all of that is starting to combine now. Pittsburgh have pushed them off tempo. They are dictating the flow of this game, and they've got all the guys on the inside. You really see Todd Wharton, you know, when Dixon dropped down in, all of those guys are starting to combine. Success in the final third is right around the corner.
Griffin. Cicerone turns, taken down. Official was ready to blow the whistle. Let it play out. Here's Dover, out for Dixon. High lofted ball all the way across. Armstrong trying to get it at the back door. Johnson is there. Marveau. Pepsi Cola is the official soft drink of the Charlotte Independents. Enjoy an ice cold Pepsi at your next Independence game. Pepsi, born in the Carolinas.
Hey, let's go, guys, let's go.
Over an hour gone here in Charlotte alongside Devin Kerr. I'm Joe Malfa. Glad you could join us this evening for a match that has really taken on a playoff feel, as a lot of them will now down the stretch. So much at stake for every team in the playoff picture, whether it's playing to get in or playing for seeding. Oberton, Marveau tried to curl that one up to the top corner. Those two have combined a bit in their past.
And the main reason that Oberton is in the United States is because of Sylvain Marveau coming to visit his friend. Just enjoyed himself. Had an opportunity to come out and knock the ball around with his buddy at Charlotte Independence Training. This is, of course, after the acquisition of Marveau, and said, hey, when Jeffries wanders over, want to hang out a bit more? Must be nice to walk across the field and have someone with the pedigree of a Rennes and Guingamp, Newcastle United, of course, Manchester United within the mix too. Most recently in France, and just say, you want to hang out here? Think about the talent pool they have to choose from now.
Those couple of guys, Fuchs with his background on that improbable but historic title-winning season from Leicester, captain for 4 years of Austria, and a number of players that you mentioned on loan from Charlotte FC that will be moving on to MLS next season.
That's the other thing too, is the guys that are on loan that aren't involved in the Charlotte conversation, but someone like a Marcelo Palomino, not necessarily cast aside at Houston, but trying to find his way under Tab Ramos. Brant Bronico, another one. Tremendous amount of success coming out of college at UNC Charlotte, which just hasn't exactly gone to the MLS level for the Chicago Fire, right? And now that he joined Charlotte, what does that look like going forward? They're not an island of misfit toys by any means, but those guys are looking for a career path moving forward, right? For a club that hasn't played a game yet, and you get an opportunity to not just play, but get regular repetitions with some high-quality players. And let's not disrespect other players. Guys like Hugh Roberts, who have basically become Mr. Charlotte. Guys like Enzo Martinez, who's been there forever, and then the resurgence of players like Irvin Parra. It is a melting pot of talent that it all starting to come together at the right time for the Charlotte Independents.
Jelani Peters entering the match for Jordan Dover. First changes on the way from Pittsburgh. Denny Rivera also there. And it'll be Armstrong on the way out for Rivera. So a change of the two guys that we saw a lot of on the outsides.
Last two alternates, Jessica Klein, Samantha Jackson.
Substitutions brought to you by Complete Construction Services. Peters there in the middle, his first touch, he's taken down, falls on the ball, play on. Martinez. Parra. Parra drives it into the chest of Vitiello. I always like to give you a chance to gather your thoughts whenever Bob Lilly makes a sub before I ask the question. There you go.
Yeah, he's going to change.
Okay.
I kind of saw it coming. I actually thought he would have done this sooner, to be honest, but with the quality start of the second half, that's a conversation at halftime of, here's the deal. Show me that you want to be involved here. So they stuck with it. They found a little bit of success. Now you've got fresh legs. You change the shape a little bit. You're going to rotate Kilwine to the outside. Peters will come in, and you'll push Wheat a little bit further on the right. So you'll still maintain the ability to drift into a 3, but you lock yourself into a 4. Watch where Dixon lines up here. That's the question. Do you stick Alex Dixon out on the right, or do you go more of a flat shape on the middle and keep 2 up top?
Jelani, play simple. Jelani, we need the ball.
Fuchs looking to ping one over the top. Into the path of Johnson. Vitiello out for a header. It's still loose. Collision in the box, overhead kick. It lands on top of the net. And it's out for a goal kick. For all the saves Vitiello has made throughout the season, that has happened a lot.
Very surprised that he comes this far off the line. Because of where the ball is played, you're about 22 yards out here in a 50-50 battle already. Fuchs goes long up over the top. Joel Johnson gets in behind the substitute Jelani Peters. They just don't handle it well. They get lucky, to be honest. The fact that you have the recovery on the back line is the most important thing, because it's not just Peters and it's not just Vitiello. Everybody else, all hands on deck for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They get away with one.
I can think of a few examples off the top of the head where we've seen that before from Vitiello. One of them in the 0-0 draw against Tampa Bay. The only really good chance on the day for Tampa Bay was a play like that where he vacated the goal, and it was a defender save by Jelani Peters sweeping it off the line. He's adventurous back there. He does make a lot of big saves and a lot of big plays, but I guess that's the double-edged sword. You're going to take some of those plays like that where your heart stops for a brief moment.
Adventurous. I'm not exactly sure that's the word Bob Lilly's using in the dressing room.
Martinez pivots inside. Bronico. Behind, it's Johnson. Cuts it back. Didn't hit it well. He has been right up against that back line, timing his runs perfectly. A number of times we've seen Pittsburgh looking over for the flag, and it hasn't been there. Jose Bizama will be entering the match for Gabriel Oberton. Brought to you by Complete Construction Services.
It is amazing how efficient he is on the ball. It just seems like everything is so fluid with his movements on the field. The little drifts to the inside, little touches. I'll never forget their match against Colorado Springs. He came on as a substitute in the second half, and his first touch just quickly dragged the ball behind him, right through on the backside, around his left foot, megged someone in the process, and I kind of just turned and went, okay, that's how it's going to be.
Here's another Chick-fil-A corner kick for Charlotte. 3 games between these teams this season, all 3 finished 1-0, 2 Charlotte's way, 1 Pittsburgh's way. We could be on our way to that again here, as this one is 0-0 in the 70th minute. Every game has been tight. Chess matches between Bob Lilly and Mike Jeffries. Driven ball in. Vitiello comes out again, punches this one away. And he had to. Fuchs was there. Forbes almost turned it over, but wins it back and skirts it by Fuchs. That one into the hand of Adam Armour. And it's going to be a yellow card as well.
He reaches for it.
Yellow card brought to you by Devil's Logic Brewing. Not the worst yellow card Armour's taken, because that was a really strong transition opportunity in the making for Pittsburgh.
There were so many numbers up high for the Charlotte Independents. Really an overcommitment, to be fair. Get lucky that it doesn't continue the other direction. 20 minutes to go. I would be shocked if we don't see a goal in this game. The way that it's gone, the chances that are created, I like the look that you have from Pittsburgh Riverhounds right now, with the addition of Jelani Peters into it, because it gives you the ability to pretty quickly shift from a 3 to a 4. You didn't really have that much of an option with the other two when it was Ezra and Jordan Dover. Not that they can't play it, just the way that the game was playing out.
Forbes cross takes a deflection. Kilwine got ahead to it. If you're looking for a little Greek, a little Southern, and always fresh, enjoy a great meal and an ice cold Pepsi at your local Showmars. Not all 0-0 games are created equally. Remember when Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay drew 0-0 a few weeks ago? There were a combined 2 shots on target in that game. In this one, we have 8 shots on target, 5 going Charlotte's way, 3 going Pittsburgh's way, and 18 total shots in this one.
Talked about the individual performance of Sylvain Marveau and historically how that related. One of the best matches I've ever called or seen was a 0-0 draw between St. Louis and Louisville in 2018. That was when Anthony Pulis was still in charge. John Hackworth had come into the mix. Just 2 teams playing an extremely high level. Not saying that's what we're seeing right now, but to your point, it doesn't have to be all dim and dreary within the matches for them to be entertaining.
Kilwine didn't quite wait the first touch properly. All the way back now for Vitiello. Parra closing in. In our chat with Mike Jeffries, he wryly said that 0-0 games are sometimes the most entertaining. Turned out to be prophetic in this one. He was joking when he said it, but he wasn't wrong in the end.
I'm sure he'd be much happier with 3 points given the way that his team has performed tonight so far. Still plenty of work to do. They're starting to scramble a little bit right now. You can see the runs a little bit delayed, sluggish to react.
Cicerone plays it in. Kilwine scoots by along the end line. Heavy tackle in the box, and Kilwine is called for the foul.
He's lucky to escape without being given a yellow right now, and maybe a bit of theatrics on the back end for the referee. Doesn't say anything. Pulling up a bit lame. Studs up the entire way.
And Charlotte trying to take advantage of this. One of the defenders for Pittsburgh and Kilwine after that tackle stays down in the box, other end of the field. Cicerone, a lot of space. There's Kilwine, back to his feet in the picture.
Look at the recovery, though. Right on cue. Just talked about how slow the reaction had been over the past couple of minutes for the Charlotte Independents. Good sequence here for the Riverhounds moving forward. They've slowed it down to a fault in that same window, Joe, where they've got the opportunity to go quickly, and they're just kind of dialing it down a notch. It's very uncharacteristic given the way that they've scored a lot of goals over the season with Cicerone. You see Forbes starting to break the level there, but with Cicerone and Dixon, all the space available to him, I'm very surprised that when that initial ball comes into the point man up top, whoever's holding it up, that they're not finding that second wave, dropping it in, and then going. Instead, they're stepping on it and trying to play and break down in a much smaller space.
Luis Perez enters the match for Preston Kilwine, brought to you by Complete Construction Services.
He came off on the side. He's hurt, injured.
3 changes in all now so far for Pittsburgh. Used in 2 of their windows. Plenty of space to carry here. Inside Martinez. Chase coming from behind was Griffin, and it's played out for Marveau. Marveau curls it in. Wheat heads it away. Marveau going through the middle. He goes down, wanted a call. Didn't seem to be much contact, if any.
They don't seem to find the same amount of success when they separate Joel Johnson and Sylvain Marveau. Johnson going over to the left side with the addition of Bismuth onto the back line. Good news is you got a quality run just a second ago. The bad news is those cuts in. One of the greatest things you get out of that relationship is when Marveau does come to the inside. He's not just creating for himself, he's creating for others, more importantly. And that space over the right shoulder is usually going to be a Johnson run. Can he pick up the same run, Bismuth, coming in? Because the scouting report tells you exactly where the space is going to be. It's been there all night long.
Perez working with Forbes. Shouts of handball again, but that one seemed to come off the chest. Pace slowing down to a crawl. Join USL in celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month through October 15th. Visit uslsoccer.com/Hispanic-Heritage for exclusive content and stories that celebrate members of the Hispanic community who have shaped the USL. Perez had a chance there with the space, but lost it on the first touch. Change on the way for Charlotte. Valentin Sabella in, Marcelo Palomino out. Brought to you by Complete Construction Services.
Complete Construction Services substitution for the Independents. Exiting the match for your Jacks, number 8, Marcelo Palomino.
Well, this will change things now with Sabella coming on. He's obviously going to go to the outside. That's fine.
And entering for the Independents.
How much freedom do they give Marveau compared to Enzo Martinez? Martinez is always the one that sort of has the chains off, if you will. They give him that unbridled ability to really have carte blanche within the middle of the field. Sylvain Marveau, it's different. More likely, I would imagine that he's going to be the pairing alongside Brant Bonico for the rest of the way.
Look at you using a French phrase in describing Marveau.
Merci, monsieur. Qu'est-ce que tu vous m'as dit?
I've got no idea what you said.
What would you like me to do?
Perez. See if he can impact things in the limited time he will have after coming in as a sub.
Foreign languages are fine. It's the English that gets me.
Well, it's a good thing you don't have to do that for a living or anything.
Bingo.
Ten to go of the 90. We'll see what stoppage time has in store. Some big points on the line here in the Atlantic Division playoff race. Pittsburgh looking to hunt down Tampa Bay. Charlotte looking to build a little bit of a cushion over Charleston. Charleston was set to play Miami tonight. That game has not yet kicked off. It's been in a weather delay the entire time.
Load of room on this right-hand side. Enzo Martinez didn't see it.
Sabella. Great ball through. Irvin Parra! Charlotte gets the goal in the 81st minute. It's their leading scorer with his 10th of the season. Celebration ensues.
Don't name one here. Name every single player in a Charlotte Independence uniform because they're all involved. All's well. Phone home. Come and get me. Watch Martinez start down in the pocket. There's Marveau. The connection you asked for. Thought the first ball could have gone long, but as they slow this down, here comes the rotation. The high line of Bizima, the inversion of Sabella, and then the run on the tail end of this by Irvin Parra. Beautiful separation, gets onto that back shoulder, Mikael Williams, and goes to work. Quick little reaction. The ball has to be perfect. Everything in the buildup had to be top tier. The magic of Charlotte Independence shines bright inside 10 minutes to go.
Goal brought to you by Devil's Logic Brewing. Irvin Parra breaks out the Get Smart shoe phone celebration, but he did not miss it by that much. He gets it where it's supposed to go, and it's 1-0 Charlotte. Johnson on the left side now. Charlotte playing with a lead. We'll see if that forces Pittsburgh out a little bit more and they could get a second. This is going to be a yellow card. Wheat commits the foul. Yellow card brought to you by Devil's Logic Brewing. Previous 3 times, 1-0 the scoreline this season between these teams. 2 went Charlotte's way, 1 went Pittsburgh's way. All time in this series, 8 wins for Charlotte, 5 draws, just 1 win for Pittsburgh. Independents have owned the Riverhounds.
Six different players, by the way, from the Charlotte Independents touched that ball. What a team goal. Irvin Parra is going to get the accolade, and absolutely, it's deserved. 10th goal on the season, happens at the 81st minute. Beautiful ball by Sabella. Every level, 6 different players. That's the masterclass Mike Jeffries has come to know this year.
Forbes swings it in. It was there for Mikael Williams. Just missed the header. And the live table, that would put Charlotte 7 points clear of Charleston. The Battery would have a game in hand. That's supposed to be going on right now against Miami, but in a weather delay. But as it would stand, a 7-point lead for Charlotte. It would also halt Pittsburgh's unbeaten run here of 6. But still time enough for the Riverhounds to respond. Curled in, headed back towards his own goal. That was almost disastrous for Roberts. Another corner coming now for Pittsburgh.
Easy. Easy, big fella. Don't give him any more help than you need right now. I'm still looking for more movement on the outside. You know, opening 15 minutes of the second half. Think about how high their line was. More importantly, the intensity that you're getting out of guys like Ezra Armstrong on this left side. We haven't seen the same. You know, Kilwine made that move before the injury. Now Louis Perez is in there.
Forbes, Mikael Williams knotted down. Jelani Peters not quick enough to it, cleared away. Driven back in. That was a nervy one for Pack. Maybe a little bit of a collision as well as Peters came flying through. The USL is committed to supporting the LGBTQ+ community through the Forever Proud project. The USL will strive to create safe and welcoming environments for all fans, players, employees, and partners. Learn more at uslsoccer.com/forever-proud. Three changes have already been made by Pittsburgh. They have one more substitution window, and they are utilizing it now with Williamson and Velarde on the way in. Sub coming as well for Charlotte, 2 of them. So a lot to get to you here on the changes. Nistel Zola, Christian Dean, the 2 entering for Charlotte. Sylvain Marveau, the first to exit. And Irvin Parra will be the other one making the long walk over to the sideline. All subs brought to you by Complete Construction Services.
Park the bus if we're the Charlotte Independents. It's like 5 minutes to go. Nistel Zola, first time he's been in the 18 in quite some time. Steps in for Irvin Parra. Job well done there. Didn't get a lot of opportunities tonight. When they did step out, most effectively stuck his in the back of the net. 81st minute is the lone goal in the separation between the Charlotte Independents and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. 10 on the season, double digits now for Irvin Parra.
17 and 11. Sorry, 17.
Shane Wheat, Mikael Williams, the 2 who exited for Pittsburgh with Velarde and Williamson coming in.
How about the shout that he's moving Danny Griffin to center back? There's a fun one for you.
You talked about moving random people to random places. Bob Lilly could do it.
Danny Griffin has played all but 13 minutes this season for Pittsburgh Riverhounds. There's your Iron Man. Similar in nature for the Friars while at Providence. Only in his second year professional. Starting to turn some heads.
There's 2 minutes to go of the 90 for Pittsburgh. Irvin Parra, 81st minute, the difference right now.
Let's go, 16, let's go, let's go.
You talk about going for it here. In the end, down a goal, 1-0. I look down at my tactical formation here, and the only defender that I have on my list, true defender that's in there right now for Pittsburgh, is Jelani Peters.
Go make that argument. you go make that argument to Bob Lilly. He's the only defender.
At least, again, the only listed defender, I'll say.
You could work some other guys into it the way that he utilizes Danny Rivera, but just an out-and-out defender for sure. But again, bringing Todd Wharton onto the back line. This is the flexibility you get. Versatility is a totally different word. Flexibility right now, inside 5 minutes to go, where you get so much offensive talent, guys with an understanding of what needs to be done. And outside of the opening portion of this half, really the first 15 minutes, haven't created a lot here in the second half. And so can you now go find an equalizer and try and find a way to salvage a point? That's the beauty of Bob Lilly. Always seems to dig deep down into the well. Is there any fluid left is the question.
We wait for the official number up on the fourth official's board, but it's looking like 4 minutes of added time. Griffin pokes it along.
Look at how deep Leonardo Forbes is. He wants him on the ball. You can't take him all the way out of it, though. When he comes that deep, you got to find him. Todd Wharton's going to step through that level. I'm pulling somebody else through.
Into stoppage time now. 4 minutes of stoppage time. Stoppage time is brought to you by Complete Construction. Perez earns a corner. Actually, that one just snuck out for a throw. Velarde inside Williamson. Good first touch by Perez. Out to meet him was Bizima. Here's Griffin, clips it in, backside, sent across in front. Opportunity for Velarde, and it's shipped over. Goal kick coming for Charlotte. Austin Pack just slumps the shoulders, a sigh of relief from the Independence keeper. Fuchs trying to organize things at the back, and they nearly saw 2 points slip away.
Watch his right hand by Austin Pack as this ball comes off the deck, and then his left to get back into the way. Well done by Perez to see the deep run coming from Danny Griffin. Beautiful ball to the back post. Right hand there, tiny touch, and as this comes back across, left hand gets in front of Cicerone. It's not an overall save on the second one, but the fact that he's able to get that tiny amount of pressure on the second player in that golden boot race, that's why this stays at 1-0. That could have easily been your equalizer.
Flag did go up there on Sabella. Pittsburgh in danger of suffering another loss to a team in the playoff picture. You alluded to that earlier, Devin. Perez finds a window there for Velarde. 90 seconds to go of the 4 minutes that were added. Griffin Sends it out wide, put in the middle again, or attempted to at least, from Rivera.
You go even further into that argument. It's not just that it's 1-0 for the Independents. It's not just that they're about to take down another 3 points, go closer to Miami, grow further away from the Battery and Hartford Athletic. But for Pittsburgh, those 2 wins that I referenced, out of the 14, only 2 against teams currently sitting in a playoff position. The last win, July 3rd, Charlotte Independents, 1-0. It was a span that saw 2 wins over teams like that in about 3 weeks. June 19th was the one. It was a beautiful win. Pittsburgh Riverhounds on the road at Al Lang against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Since then, again, a couple of good draws, but nothing that you can really turn your head and go, okay, this team is for real.
Battle in the corner. Roberts wins it on Cicerone. That final whistle could be coming any moment now. Velarde. Can Pittsburgh find one more golden opportunity? Perez caught between 2 minds, didn't do anything with it. Final whistle blows. Charlotte Independents, don't call them a dark horse. They are closing in on the pack in the Atlantic Division. Take a look at tonight's man of the match, brought to you by Nona Brewing Company. Who but Irvin Parra, the man who supplies the game-winning goal. And what a goal it was, a team goal.
Didn't get a lot of opportunities, Irvin Parra. But that's the brilliance of Irvin Parra in form. When he carries confidence, it is scary, the capability that he has. The wind beneath his wings just flies behind the Pittsburgh Riverhounds back line. Beautiful ball cut back through, sticks it in the back of the net. 10th on the season. Most importantly, first of the night for the Charlotte Independents to secure 3 points.
And take a look now at the save of the game, brought to you by Big Ben Pub. Go to the one at the end here. At the very last, Pack gets a slap to this one.
It's the only one, by the way, in the second half that hit the target. 6 different times the Pittsburgh Riverhounds progressed into the final third. Only once were they able to really get a quality amount of pressure on Austin Pack. Little conversation there with backup goalkeeper from Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Jake Leaker. They, of course, spent some good time together. But another quality performance by Austin Pack, his 4th shutout of the season.
1-0 Charlotte Independents. Parra greets the fans. He gave those fans 3 points to cheer about tonight. We're back in a moment to wrap this one up from Charlotte.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Duckworth's Grill and Tap House is your destination for great food. Duckworth's is open for dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Make sure you complete your order with an ice-cold Pepsi. Duckworth's is locally owned and operated. Pepsi, that's what I like.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Celebrations continue among the players and the fans. Alongside Devin Kerr, this is Joe Malfa. We go ahead and wrap this one up with a look at the full-time highlights brought to you by Duckworth's.
We would say take it all the way back, but the way that the first half went for both the Charlotte Independents and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, might as well just start in the second half. Get it going early. Danny Vitiello coming off his line, gets a bit lucky. Communication was lacking all night long for the back three, for the goalkeeper. That's not how they were broken down. They were broken down because of brilliance. It was the brilliant team build by the Charlotte Independents. You get the overlapping run from the outside back. You don't take it if you're Valentin Sabella. Instead, you cut into the space that was just occupied by Jose Bizima. And then look at the flat feet on the back line. Whether it's Shane Wheat or Jelani Peters or Mikkel Williams, no matter who was back there, they struggled with the runs all night long. Irvin Parra in the 81st minute gives them the 1-0 lead, gives them the victory, the 3 points. And more importantly, for the 5th time this season, the Charlotte Independents have taken down a team that sits above the playoff line. More importantly, sits above them within the Atlantic standings.
Full-time stats brought to you by Famous Toastery. Possession, something that stuck out to me. It was really opposite in the first half. The second half, Pittsburgh won possession 63-37, but didn't do much with it in the end.
Couldn't tell you the last time that I looked back at a game and said, where was Danny Griffin? Where was Kennardo Forbes? That's not a knock on them. That's on the Charlotte Independents, really executing at a high level. And here's where we sit. By the way, Tampa Bay Rowdies, they've done it. They've officially set the consecutive shutout streak, both by games and by minutes. Let's see how long they continue that. Tampa Bay Rowdies atop the Atlantic Division right now. Everybody else chasing. Charlotte Independents, they grow to within 4 points of the Miami FC. More importantly, they are 7 clear of 5th place Hartford with 9 games to go. That's the big talking point.
And they're only 10 points back of Pittsburgh with 3 games in hand on the Riverhounds. A lot to be sorted out in the last month and a half of the season. Every game taking on that playoff feel now. Tonight was no different. Charlotte goes ahead and gets the win, courtesy of Irvin Parra in the 81st minute, and takes all 3 points against the Riverhounds. For my broadcast partner, Devin Kerr, and the rest of the crew that makes this possible, I'm Joe Malfa saying good night from Charlotte. Independence 1, Riverhounds 0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.